I'm Peter Nightingale. Am I speaking into this thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm Peter Nightingale. I'm representing Nature's Trust Rhode Island. We signed on as an organization to the letter that No LNG PVD wrote and the Washington Park Neighborhood Association. I support everything that was in that letter. I have 3 more pages that actually contain a lot of science. In addition to that, I'm not going to read that to you, but let me give you a little bit of a history of why I'm here. I have been fighting fossil fuel infrastructure expansion in Rhode Island for a while. During that process, I have had numerous conversations with people working for DEM. And the argument is always the same. The impression I get is always the same. These are good people who are trying to do their best, as you are. At the end of the day, we get, you know, if we did what you want us to do, we'd be dragged into court. We can't afford that. Well, I have news for you. It probably isn't any news. You are in court. Why are you in court? Because we took you to court. Yes. Nature's Trust Rhode Island. And Monica's kids are 2 of the litigants in that process. Why? Because I have the luxury of being able to do that, and she is going back and forth with her kids to the hospital and doesn't have the time to be in court and write these pages and pages and pages of stuff that takes. It's not that I'm a saint. I do it for her kids, I do it for my kids, I do it for my grandkids, I do it for your kids. Right. You know that. Right. So I will be rather short. Let me just tell you one thing that's in here. There was an article written this year, published in the proceedings of the Academy of Science. That's not one of these activist rags. That's a well-respected scientific journal. And in there is something, and I'll read it literally, do not botch it. It says, we show, this is from the abstract, that in the United States, PM 2.5, that's a particular form of pollution that comes out of this, or is formed by what comes out of this facility. PM 2.5 exposure is disproportionately caused by consumption of goods and services, mainly by, disproportionately caused by consumption of goods and services, mainly by the non-Hispanic white majority. The white majority uses those services, and who inhales the pollution of that? Well, it's disproportionately inhaled by black and Hispanic minorities. Okay, that's why we're here. And let me say it again. This is a well-respected, peer-reviewed journal. One of the premier journals in the United States. Okay, so let me fast forward to the end, and this connects with what Paul Rosselli had to say, namely, we don't necessarily have to wait to what EC4 or STAB says. The statutes of Rhode Island say that DEM is responsible for the cumulative effect on the environment. Okay, how much clearer can that be? Very simple, isn't it? I can give you, you probably know the title where that is. There is the Resilient Rhode Island Act, which says that actually every department in the state has to act according to that law. Where are you? You're not doing it. Not because you don't want to. And then one final thing, or 2 final things. In the letter that you received, there was a map that showed a 100-year flood event. What does a 100-year flood event mean? If across the globe, extreme climate events over the past 50 years have increased by a factor 50. So does that mean that a 100-year event is now a 2-year event? No, it doesn't necessarily mean that, because this is not uniformly distributed across the earth. But I listen to what FERC has to say. They talk about 500-year events. We read about 100-year events. That's the official best stuff that Rhode Island has to offer. And it is something that is best summed up with 2 letters. BS. Okay, now let me finish with the following about Governor Raimondo. And this... Do I have 10 more seconds?
Yes.
Okay. There was a paper that says committed emissions from existing energy infrastructure jeopardize the 1.5 limit. Gina Raimondo supports the Paris agreements. We cannot only not build more, we have to take stuff down.
Right.
Here's your opportunity. Go ahead, do it. Thank you.